It's been a while since we covered this city, and there's a few things that have changed, and that's why we need to cover what it's like in Lafayette, Colorado.
All right, let's go. Okay, I think to understand kind of what Lafayette is like now, we have to talk a little bit about what it was like before and how it's always changing. So Peter actually used to live here, so I'll let him start and kind of tell you as a kid. Then we'll go into maybe 10 years back and kind of look at what that looks like.
Yeah, so Lafayette, Colorado, the reason that it's growing so fast is because it is in Boulder County, and you have Boulder, pretty much that Boulder bubble expanding outwards. Lafayette's pretty much the furthest city from that. Longmont is far too, but if we're talking the furthest east, this is going to be Lafayette, Colorado, and it has grown so much. When I was here, it was literally like you had the suburbs that was way north, and then you had downtown, and that was it. In the downtown, had a lot of mom and pop shops down here. Back in the day, I used to always ride my bike all throughout kind of the suburbia area, and then me and my stepdad, we found out they were building a brand new rec center down here, which is, gosh, how old is it now? I'm trying to think. So this is probably back in the late 80s, and so now it's like one of the old news type thing. But yeah, we used to sit there and look through the windows and watch how they were building the rec center, how it's so cool. We're like, holy crap, look at that slide, look at that lazy river. Now it's just kind of old news, and there's so many more things that are coming into Lafayette, Colorado.
So also talk a little bit about, for people who don't know how to get here from Denver.
Hopefully you can hear this. I don't know what it is. Lately, every single time we record, the wind just blows like crazy.
Well, mainly in Lafayette though. Like every video we have in Lafayette.
If you go back to any of our other videos, we're pretty much always in the same location, unless we were talking about like the bad things about Lafayette, where we recorded up at Stem Brewery, and up there was crazy. We were trying to get a few drinks and just to kind of handle the wind because it blew our camera over. It was insane. Actually, our fourth reason not to live in Lafayette is the wind. Now, where is Lafayette, Colorado? Now, it's north of Denver, so you're looking at probably a good 30 to 45 minutes, depending on traffic. You take I-25 straight north, take Highway 7 straight west, and you're gonna run right into pretty much the center of Lafayette. You're running to the north side of downtown, but then you have all those suburbs that are on the north side of Highway 7, where you're seeing a lot of newer developments happening up there, and then all the older suburbs that I kind of lived in that were built in the 70s and 80s.
So as far as Boulder goes, you're about 23 minutes to Boulder as well. So you're not really far from either city. And again, like Peter had mentioned in the beginning, the reason that people liked Lafayette, Colorado is because it was outside of Boulder where you got a more affordable option. So what did Lafayette used to be like? It was affordable, it was a smaller town, it had the old town, but more antique kind of type, mom pop places. It was just kind of a lot more quiet than Boulder, but still close enough to these cities to be able to take advantage of the city life, or even over in Boulder, taking advantage of, all the rec. Growing, but there's not that much to grow into because it is still a smaller city.
Yeah, and I will say too that like growing up in here, Lafayette, it doesn't seem like you see much more traffic in downtown Lafayette as opposed to when I was a kid. Of course, you have those festivals that it gets crazy busy here where they shut off the entire street.
Wait, hold on. We're going into that later. Don't you be getting crazy on us.
All right, we're going to dive into that later. I'm just saying that the amount of traffic that you really see through downtown Lafayette isn't really changed that much since when I was a kid.
The growth rate actually isn't as much as it used to be. In 2015, it was at 3.7% year over year. Now it's down to 1.86. Yeah. Now, stick around till the very end because we are going to be covering some real estate costs, and I honestly believe that this could be why that growth rate has kind of tamed down a little bit, because it is growing in popularity and the real estate costs are going to be reflecting that as well. So stick around to the end.
Yeah, guys, listen, we help people purchase real estate in Lafayette all the time, and I'm still amazed all the time when I'm seeing the prices these houses are going for. So you're going to want to stick around because it's probably a lot different from the last time that we covered Lafayette.
Okay, before we continue on telling you what it's like to live in Lafayette, if you're enjoying this content, please feel free to hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and even give it a thumbs up if you're interested in following us around as we cover all these remaining cities.
And of course, guys, if you are looking at pursuing real estate in the state of Colorado, need that licensed realtor, go ahead and give us a call or text on the phone number right below. Give us a call or text, doesn't matter day or time. Now, what we're going to go over is what Lafayette is like now.
Yes, so obviously we have talked about this before, talking about kind of this downtown or old town Lafayette. The shops and all of that are very different now. We might have one or two little antique stores, but we have all this, not chain restaurants, but new, fun, community restaurants. Obviously the two that we talked about in the last video are Community and Tangerine. Those are kind of some of the older ones, but they're still new. And then now we have things like STEM started a pizza place.
Yeah, so Stem pretty much owns that pizza. It's like called Ghost Box Pizza, something right along those lines. And so you have a lot of these like cool new restaurants, like hip spots to go.
Yeah.
My sister lives over in Baseline, and they constantly come into downtown Lafayette to really experience a lot of these great little eateries that they have inside of downtown that weren't here the last couple of years.
Another good restaurant is the Post Chicken and Beer Place, which is like right next to the church, which is kind of interesting. But anyways, restaurants galore down here. You are never going to not find somewhere to eat down here. The other thing is development. Now, this blows my mind. Okay, so we know that Louisville, we're starting to see scrapes and things like that. We also thought it was coming this direction because as the downtown starts to get built up, obviously we're going to start seeing the surrounding areas change. Scrapes are coming. They're being listed for over $1 million sometimes over here. And all of the development plans, which I love looking at development plans. Thank goodness Lafayette has such a wonderful website to do that because not all the other surrounding cities are that easy. But you can go on, and I'll even pop up a picture here, but showing you all the different development coming in this area. And I'm telling you right now, a lot of them are not single family. You'll see the scrapes, but majority of the development that's going on over here is going to be, you know, townhouse, condos, multifam kind of areas, and they're blocking out certain areas that I wouldn't even think would be developed to build this type of thing. So Lafayette is changing. It's going to change fast. We're already seeing it in the real estate.
Yeah, quick note on that in the real estate is that the majority of your development that happened here in Lafayette the last few years was all single family, right? And so if you go north of the downtown area, you drive through there, it's all like great little suburbia single family areas where now they're like, you know what, we need to incorporate a little bit more of this attached condo townhouse style living, and that's what they're really doing. They actually built a little bit, as you're coming to the entrance into Highway 7, they do have some kind of multifamily living in there, but that was pretty much the extent of it. And so now they're like, you know what, we need to build a few more of these products, and that's what's really coming in. Chelsea did a great job of pointing out that development, and it's awesome to see that they are doing that.
Now, another cool thing about Lafayette is even though it is a small little city, it still has a tiny bit of lake life. Now, if you're coming from places with a bunch of lakes, this probably isn't what kind of lake like you're looking for, but it's called Wanaka Lake, and it's nice to know that a small city like this does have some of that recreation. Now, this is going to be a smaller lake, so it's going to be for fishing, kayaking, canoeing. They have paddle boating. It's got 1.2 miles of trail for people who want to run or walk around that trail. It's also great because it's usually, you know, dirt and all of that, so it makes it a little easier for some of that, you know, outdoor running. This is also a great area if you want to rent out a shelter and have a birthday party or having kind of that outdoor celebration with friends and family. So to be able to have that in still such a small city is a big bonus, especially for Lafayette.
Now, I actually completely forgot about the lake, and I didn't realize that I did go to that lake quite a bit when I was a kid. My mom was a huge runner, and so she started going to Boulder and Lafayette to really kind of run those areas. And I didn't really realize that I was always going to that lake as a kid until Chelsea kind of looked it up. She's like, oh, they got Wanaka Lake. And I was like, wait a second. I think I remember that. I was only 5 years old, guys. And so it's like certain memories that come back and you're like, no, I definitely remember when we lived there going to that lake.
It's funny, because Peter and I have, you know, Peter's a 5th generation native, and because we have lived in multiple cities around Colorado, it's like going down memory lane every single time we get to do new videos for you guys, especially because we have lived in a lot of these cities throughout our lifetime. So it is kind of fun for us to be able to go to new cities or even back to the ones that we love so dearly.
And fair warning, going back to that with going down memory lane is sometimes when we are showing you guys, we might be giving you a little bit of a tour guide style tour. It's like, yeah, we're going to the next house, but let me tell you about what I did here and what we hit here, and here's a great spot to eat.
You should go here and this
sometimes when we're kind of showing you guys houses, we go into that a little bit, which a lot of you appreciate because it's like, hey, it's so great hearing about these areas and what you guys enjoy. And so you guys get a little bit of a tour guide along with the real estate agent when hiring us.
So along those lines, that actually perfectly segues into the next part, which is where we spend majority of our time here as adults, especially with our children, which is going to be in this downtown Lafayette area, talking about how many things there are to do in Lafayette as a whole, and especially down where we're recording right now. So we're actually sitting kind of in the center of where the downtown street is. There's a splash pad right here. A lot of people gather here with their kiddos in the summertime. There's a little ice cream shop. If you haven't checked out one of our other Lafayette videos, we tried to record with the kids and take them to ice cream, which were two horrible things together. Go check that out because we actually put in some funny footage of the ice cream shop when it's actually warm out. And I think it's gone a lot better. But before. But yeah, that is definitely a great place to take the kids. Now they have festivals down here. They have, the Peach Festival. I don't even know.
Yeah, I think they have a Harvest Festival down here. I think they have do they do a wine festival? I'm trying to think. There's so many different festivals. It seems like in the summertime, it's almost once a month or every other weekend. They're having something crazy down here that's awesome. Oh, I know they definitely have a craft beer festival down here because there's a lot of craft beer breweries kind of in the area between Longmont, Fort Collins, Denver, all these areas, and they all come down here and do a great craft beer festival as well.
The other thing too is the farmers market. So farmers market starts in the spring and goes all the way through the summer. It's weekly. Lafayette partners with Boulder County. They bring only local producers here to the area so that they're supporting local, which I think is one thing Lafayette is really good about, is kind of those local artisans and bringing everybody in from around the surrounding areas and community to support them in their businesses. Another thing is they have a water park here in Lafayette. It is wonderful. It's called the Great Outdoors, and it is huge. They have 21-foot slides for the big kids, and then they have little kid areas. The funny thing is, which I feel really bad about, we haven't been there yet. We drive by it every single time we go to church, and the kids are like, we have to go. We're like, oh my gosh, we are going there this summer. It is so cool. A lot of our friends have gone there. They do birthday parties there, and we just have not taken I think they're just big enough now. They're just now big enough. We have a 3- and 5-year-old, so as you can imagine, that might get a little hectic. But I think they're just now big enough. But if that's one place that you can spend most of your summer, there's so much to do there.
Also, they have the Wild Children's Museum. It's just one block over from downtown on the north side of downtown Lafayette. And then also the rec center. This is the thing that I talked about. Listen, it was always called the Lafayette Rec Center. Apparently now it's called the Bob L. Bergen something Rec Center. Why couldn't you just keep it as the Lafayette Rec Center, okay?
It still has a Lafayette Rec Center sign.
It does, but
it also has the Bob L. Bergen sign.
That was my thing, right? Where it's we always went to the Lafayette Rec Center. That's where it was. Warning, fair warning, it is next to a cemetery, so as you're driving in, you might see this huge cemetery, so don't worry about that. The rec center is great. I always enjoyed it as a kid.
Now, since we're on the topic of talking about these kiddos, if you're interested in what do schools look like, this is Boulder County, and so that is good news because according to niche.com, it is an A for this whole area of Lafayette. It's also, we can't steer in any way, but it also on niche.com says that it's the 4th best place to raise a family in Colorado. So that is a very high scoring for such a small city.
Yeah, we always recommend checking out niche.com because there is so much more information than what we give you on there. So you can kind of look at, academics, college prep, and all that stuff. Highly recommend checking out niche.com, looking for Lafayette, and it'll kind of tell you Boulder County and all the good things that you could look into.
Yeah, and honestly, one of the reasons people do choose Lafayette is because they want to be part of that Boulder County school district, and it still extends all the way out this way, but this is kind of the cutoff of where it ends. And so going, from Lafayette over to Louisville to Boulder, you're still in that whole Boulder County, but this is kind of the edge of that.
All right, cool. Now let's break into the thing you guys were waiting for, and that is the real estate in Lafayette, Colorado. Let's look at those median sales prices. We're going to break them up into single family and also your attached, so your condo, townhouse, row home style housing. So if we're looking at your single family, your median sales price is $708,000, almost $709,000. And guys, that is actually down year over year, 6.6%. So it's going down, but still, I'm just going to throw a quick tip out there. If you are planning on moving to Lafayette, plan on spending a little bit more than that. The downtown areas probably would bring that price point down a little bit. But if you're going over to the suburban areas, look for closer to $1 million.
Yeah, the thing about Old Town Lafayette is surrounding it are some of these older homes, and so those do come at a lower price point typically, except for not actually. I just looked at one of the houses for one of our clients, and one of the older homes, because of proximity to downtown Lafayette, was $750,000. So, and it didn't have any new finishes. It didn't, it was a standard 3-bed, 2-bath. So you're actually kind of paying at that point for the proximity to downtown because people know that this area is going to be highly desired.
Let's break into the attached, so your condo, townhouse, row home style house. You're looking at a median sales price as of January of 2023, $391,500, and that is actually down 27%. And I think the biggest reason that is down the way it is there's not much of that product. here in Lafayette, right? And so maybe those premier ones really sold a year ago, where now it's kind of what's left over, and they're selling a little bit lower of a price point. That might be a reason why it's down a little bit. Expect that number to go up when they are putting all this new development in.
Okay, so we have talked about what it's like to live in Lafayette, Colorado now, as well as what it was like, 10 or even all the way back to childhood years.
Yep.
If you're interested in this area, please let us know. We do these videos for you.
And of course, guys, if you are planning on purchasing real estate in the state of Colorado, licensed real estate agent here helping out with all your real estate needs, why don't you go ahead and give us a call or text on that phone number right below. Give us a call or text, doesn't matter date or time. And until next time, we love you. Bye.
They bring a producer only, so like only local local producers. Is that him again?
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay.
But we still want to update. This is a city that we've covered a few times before, but we still want to update you guys on what's new in Lafayette, Colorado. No. And we're going to kind of go into.
Oh no! Quick! And Lafayette's really fucking windy.
Gets crazy windy here sometimes. Or would you want me to get into?
Where are you? It's actually. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
They'll bring because their popularity. That guy's getting down. Okay, and things. God, how many trucks? Hold on.
I gotta stop so abruptly.